I hope it's recording. All right, so today we're going to be talking about parallel lines and transversals and angles. Okay. The homework, it looks like a lot, but it's really easy. Page 175, 1 through 37 all. What do we know about parallel lines? Parallel lines are in the same plane and do not intersect. Parallel lines are in the same plane and do not intersect. So here I have a set of parallel lines. I know they're parallel because of these little marks on them. See how it has a little arrow? That indicates that the lines are parallel. This line right here is called a transversal. What do we say the word transmit? To cross. So transversal is a line that crosses the other two. The line P is transversal of line PQ and RS. I guess I better give it another name. We'll call it line N is a transversal of PQ and RS. So once again, in order to be parallel lines, they have to be in the same plane and they do not intersect. Skew lines are lines that do not intersect but are not in the same plane. So skew lines are lines that do not intersect and are not in the same plane. So looking at this picture, this box, if we wanted to determine if some planes were parallel, what planes would be parallel? Well, the top of the box is parallel to the bottom of the box. So we could say plane A, B, F, and plane E, H, C, D. So we'll say E, H, C are parallel. We could also say that F, E, D, A is parallel to G, H, C, D. So F, E, D is parallel to G, H, C. So we could say that as well. Okay. All right. There are others that we could say are parallel. We could say the back of the box is parallel to the front of the box. Parallel to the front of the box. Okay. Now let's talk about skew lines. Skew lines are not in the same plane and do not intersect. So if we were looking at ED and we wanted to find a line that was skewed to that, so ED, and we could say GH. So you see where GH is not in the same plane as ED. My example before was the railroad tracks with the telephone pole next to them. The railroad tracks are in one plane and the telephone pole is in another. Everybody understand the difference between parallel lines and skew lines? I'll give y'all a minute to copy the box. So the first question says, name all the planes that are parallel to A, B, G. So here's A, B, G. And we're talking at the top of the box. So what's going to be parallel to that? Anybody? Real loud. Hi guys, on a college campus tour. How are y'all doing? Somebody must be able to tell me what's parallel to the top of the box. The bottom of the box. So George, what letters are we going to use for the bottom of the box? H, C, and D. H, C, and D. I like the way George started with H. We started with A, and so they're in pretty much the same position. And so we know that the bottom of the box is parallel to the top of the box. The next question says, name all the segments that intersect CH. So we have segment CH. We want to know all the segments that intersect it. So we have AH. That's one segment. We have EH. And we have BC. And we have DC. You'll notice that each one of these segments has either an H or C as part of its segment. Name all the segments that are parallel to EF. We have EF. HA, good. Segment HA, what else?
DC.
Say that again.
BC.
DC.
BC.
BC, got it. BC.
And then GD.
Alright. Alright, good. Well done. Next it says name two segments that are skewed to BG. So we have BG. Who's got this one? Remember that skew lines are not in the same plane and do not intersect. Say that again. HE. HE. All right. What about FE? HC. Okay. We could continue on, but since we were only asked to name two, we'll stop there. All right. Everybody okay with that? Anybody have a question? I'll give y'all a minute to copy the picture. You'll notice that line Q and R are not parallel. So these are some vocabulary words so that if you didn't write them down, you want to write these down. First, we're going to talk about corresponding angles. corresponding angles are two angles in corresponding positions relative to the two lines. Now, when we talk about corresponding positions, what does that mean? Well, for one, you're on the same side of these lines. So angle 2 and angle, we'll look at where angle 2 is. It's above line Q. So you're looking for an angle that is above line R on the same side of the transversal. So angle 6 would be corresponding. So angle 6 and angle 2 would be corresponding. What about another set?
1 and 5.
1 and 5. Good. What about another set?
3 and 7.
3 and 7. Another set?
8 and 4.
Alright, so 4 and 8. Good. Well done. Everybody understand what we mean by corresponding? Alright. Next I have alternate interior. Alternate interior angles are two non-adjacent interior angles on opposite sides of the transversal. Alternate interior. The words mean something. Alternate. On opposite sides of the transversal. Interior. On the inside of the lines. Alternate meaning on opposite sides of the transversal. Interior meaning inside the lines. Alright. So, alternate interior. Angle 3 and angle 5. They are on opposite sides of the transversal on the inside of the parallel lines. Then we have angle 4 and angle 6. Those are also alternate interior, meaning on opposite sides of the transversal, on the inside of the lines. Everybody understand that? Next we have consecutive angles or same-sided. Sometimes they're called consecutive angles, sometimes they're called same-sided interior. They are on the same side of the transversal, on the interior of the interior of the line. So, same-sided interior. So what would that be? Well, they're on the same side. So angle 3, and they're on the interior. So what would
6.
angle 6? Good. And then angle 4 and angle 5. So I like to call them same-sided interior, but sometimes we call them consecutive. Next we have alternate exterior. What does alternate mean? On the opposite sides of the transversal. Exterior meaning on the outside of the lines. Alternate exterior. Alternate exterior angles are two non-adjacent angles on opposite sides of the transversal on the outside of the line. So, alternate meaning on opposite sides of the transversal, exterior meaning on the outside of the lines. So, angle 1 and angle 7. Angle 1 1 and angle 7 are on opposite sides of the transversal on the outside of the lines. Another pair of alternate exterior angles would be alternate, meaning on opposite sides of the transversal, exterior, meaning on the outside of the lines. So angle 2 and angle 8. Then I've added linear pairs and vertical angles just to remind you what they are. We know that angle 1 and 2 are a linear pair. We know that 2 and 3 are a linear pair. We know that 3 and 4 are a linear pair. And we know that 4 and 1 are a linear pair. What about vertical?
7 and 5.
Angle 1 and 3 are vertical. 7 and 5 are vertical. 8 and 6 are vertical. 2 and 4 are vertical. Everybody good? No? All right, so I'd like to look at this next picture. And what is the difference between this picture and the one that we just looked at?
Top to the parallel.
The lines are parallel. So we know that this picture is different from the picture we just looked at because the lines are parallel. So we know that this line is parallel to this line, is parallel to that line. If the lines are parallel, then corresponding angles, alternate exterior angles, alternate interior angles, and same-sided interior angles have specific relationships. Okay? So what did we say corresponding angles were? We said they were in the same position. So a pair of corresponding angles, angle 2 and angle 6. They are congruent if the lines are parallel. So that means if angle 2 was equal to 60 degrees, angle 6 would be equal to 60 degrees. We also know that angle 3 is congruent to angle 7. We know that angle 1 is congruent to angle 5. We know that angle 4 is congruent to angle 8. We could go on to the next line, which I'm going to take off of here for now. Okay? We're not confused by it. The corresponding angles are congruent if the lines are parallel. So if the lines are parallel, corresponding angles are congruent. Alternate interior angles. If the lines are parallel, alternate interior angles are congruent. That means that angle 3 is congruent to angle 5. They are alternate interior because they're on opposite sides of the transversal and they're on the inside of the parallel lines. We know that angle 4 is congruent to angle 6. As long as the lines are parallel, we know that alternate interior angles are congruent. We know that corresponding angles are congruent. We know that alternate exterior angles are congruent. So we know that angle 1 is congruent to angle 7. And we know that angle 2 is congruent to angle 8. So if the lines are parallel, we know that angle 2 is congruent to angle 8. Angle 1 is congruent to angle 7. Those would be the alternate exterior angles. The Corresponding angles are congruent if the lines are parallel. Alternate interior angles are congruent if the lines are parallel. Alternate exterior angles are congruent if the lines are parallel. So now let's talk about same-sided interior angles. Same-sided interior angles are supplementary. So angle 3 plus angle 6 equal 180 degrees. Angle 4 plus angle 5 equal 180 degrees. The same-sided interior angles, if the lines are parallel, same-sided interior angles are supplementary, or their sum of their angles is 180 degrees. We know that vertical angles are always congruent. We know that angle 6 is congruent to angle 8, and we could continue on. We also know that linear pairs, angle 5 plus angle 6, are supplementary. Everybody good? All right. So somebody give me a pair of corresponding angles. This one. 2 and angle 6. And because these lines are parallel, we know they're congruent. So angles 2 and 6. All right, somebody give me a set of alternate interior. Alternate meaning on opposite sides of the transversal, interior meaning on the inside of the parallel lines. 7 and 10, are they on opposite sides of the transversal? So, Noah, let's go back. 7 and what?
8.
On opposite sides of the transversal, 7 and 9. 3 and 5.
That's what I was going for.
4 and 6. 8 and 10. Those are alternate interior. Alternate meaning on opposite sides of the transversal. Interior meaning on the inside of the parallel lines. Everybody? Alright, so now let's talk about alternate exterior. Alternate exterior means on the outside of the lines on opposite sides of the transversal. So alternate exterior. So alternate exterior, angle 1 would be alternate exterior with what angle?
12. Or 2.
Let's just go with 7. It could be 12. But we'll go with 7. 2 is alternate interior with angle 8. 2 and 8. We could say 6 and 11. Those are just to name a few. Now we want to talk about same-sided interior. Same-sided interior means on the same side of the transversal. On the interior of the lines. Same-sided interior are supplementary when the lines are parallel, so angle 3 plus angle 6, which are same-sided interior, add up to 180. Another pair of same-sided interior would be angle 4 and angle 5. They add up to 180. As long as the lines are parallel, the same-sided interior angles are supplementary. All right, so hopefully we're good to go.